The Steam Iceberg Explained. Hello everyone, and today I'm going to be making a video on the Steam Iceberg. Now for those of you who somehow do not know, Steam is an online game downloading store established back in 2003 by Valve. Steam is known to have a ludicrous amount of games, an almost infinite amount of profile customization, and most notably, the sales. You can have a game going from $40 to $10 overnight. Anyway, the Steam Iceberg. This one was made by Reddit user SilentKiller648. Shout out to him. Now, before we start the iceberg, I would just like to say that I'm going to be skipping the top of the iceberg, as I literally just listed pretty much everything on there. Anyway, you guys know the drill. I'm going to get that classic Team Fortress 2 gameplay going. Let's get into the iceberg. Artifact. Artifact is a game on Steam that was made by Valve back in 2018. Now I'm assuming why this is on here is because it has a lot of negative reviews. It's probably Valve's most hated game. Half-Life 3 and Portal 3. I put these two together since they're pretty much the exact same thing. Half-Life 3 and Portal 3 are a part of the franchise, Half-Life and Portal franchise, that are yet to be released. Now, of course, Valve cannot count to 3, so we may never get to see these games. But who knows, maybe we will. Valve Index Priority. The Valve Index is a VR headset made by Valve. Now, I'm assuming this entry on the iceberg is referring to how some shipping for the VR headset has taken up to 2 months. There's possibly some other stuff to it as well, but this is the main stuff that came up when I googled it. Garry's Mod 2. Garry's Mod is a sandbox game produced by Facepunch Studios. Now, it's become really popular, and there's actually a sequel in the works right now. Well, it's not called Garry's Mod 2, it's actually called Sandbox, and from the test footage and images, it looks pretty cool. Can't wait for it to come out. Discussion board chat logs. The Steam discussion boards are a really good place to find information about the games you play. Now, you can learn a whole lot of things from these. How to fix your game, how to learn some things in your game, a lot of stuff. It's a pretty cool place. Steam trading scams. Now, some scammers will try and scam you out of some money using trading on Steam. Now, they'll do this by sending you a fake payment code after the trade is complete. Now, these are some real jack moves right here, so I recommend doing trading with your friends. Valve employees browse r/Steam. I could find nothing on this, but if I had to take a guess, this is supposed to mean that some people believe that Valve employees would browse r/Steam. Now, it sounds possible. I mean, Valve employees, r/Steam would be a good place to get advice for games and stuff like that. But then again, maybe it's not true. Who/what is the G-Man? The G-Man is a character from the game Half-Life. He is very mysterious. Almost nothing is known about him. Now, many people have come up with different theories trying to prove who or what the G-Man is. Some people say it's a future version of Gordon Freeman, while others say it's a Nihilith from the first game. Now, unless Valve decides to make a Half-Life 3, we'll most likely never know who the G-Man is. Noam Chomsky in space. Noam Chomsky was a gnome that appeared in the game Half-Life 2 Episode 2 and Left 4 Dead 2. Noam Chomsky was actually made in real life and got sent up to space by Gabe Newell. Now, whenever you load into Half-Life 2 Episode 2 or Left 4 Dead 2, you'll get the achievement Little Rocket Man, which is pretty cool. Activision leaving Steam. So apparently Activision is leaving Steam. From what I could find, It says that Valve pulled one of its games over allegedly stolen Call of Duty guns. Now, despite this, there still is a lot of Activision games on Steam, so maybe they'll leave it sometime this year. Pyro is a girl. Pyro is a character from the game Team Fortress 2, who you might recognize as my channel icon. Now, there's been a lot of back and forths on what gender the Pyro is. Some people think it's a boy, because, well, it doesn't look like a girl, and all the other TF2 characters are boys. While others, such as myself, believe that Pyro's a girl because, well, just look at some of the images on screen right now. Those are all girly stuff right there. Now, unless Valve ever gives us an answer or releases a Team Fortress 3, we'll most likely never know. Fake Steam reviews. Now, from what I could find, usually what happens is that a developer or a bot makes an account where they leave a good review on a game, and usually these accounts only have one review, and that review is the game that they reviewed. This might not be referring to that. Maybe it's referring to how sometimes you just find strange things in the reviews of games, but it's most likely the first answer. Hatred. Now, there wasn't much useful information that I could find on this, but from what I could find, Hatred was a game where you played as a murderer that got removed on Steam. Richard Lorena. Richard Lorena is a London-based, internationally renowned pickup artist and coach. Now, the only thing Steam-related that I could find was this tweet saying that Steam banned Super Seducer 3 because the game was too sexually explicit for the store. Silence on Left 4 Dead 3. Now, many people are saying that there's gonna be a Left 4 Dead 3 because there's been a lot of evidence behind it, but as we all know, Valve can't count to 3, so let's not get our hopes up. Devotion. Devotion was a game that was released on Steam back in 2019. It took place in the 80s in Taiwan. Now, it was removed from Steam because it had a Easter egg revolving around the Chinese premier Xi Jinping. I'm not sure if I said that right. So, of course, it was taken off Steam. Developer Digital's indie game Monopoly. I'm assuming this entry is referring to the fact that most of Developer Digital's games are indie games, and of course they're really popular, so they make a lot of money. Let alone the fact that some of their games go for quite a bit of money. Now, I'm not sure why it's this low on the iceberg. Perhaps there's a deeper meaning to this that I may not know about, but this is probably what the entry is referring to. Uriel's Chasm. Uriel's Chasm is a game on Steam that has a lot of negative reviews. Now, looking at some of the reviews, they say that it's very glitchy and very bad and very confusing. Looking at the images and videos, however, looks relatively normal. But the creator did put them there, so he could just be deceiving us. Now, if this video gets 30 likes, I'll download it and play it. See how bad it really is. Leaked Half-Life 3 script. I'm assuming this is referring to a Pistol 3, which was something that Mark Laidlaw, a former Valve employee, wrote. Now, the story goes that Gordon and Alex went to go find the Borealis. Along the way, they find Wallace Breen in an advisor form, and then they kill him. Then they find Judith Mossman. Alex kills her, and then the G-Man appears. Now, it's up to you if you want to consider this canon or not. Mark Laidlaw did write this after he left Valve. Plus, Half-Life Alyx's ending also kind of ruins this, as Eli did survive in that one, but this is Half-Life we're talking about. There could be some parallel universe or something else going on or something. Steam Trading Card Marketplace. Yeah, you can buy trading cards on the marketplace. Not sure why it's this low on the Iceberg though. It's pretty well known. Birkin Dines Yarzen's stolen assets and unpaid actors. Now, when I Google this, the main thing that comes up is a game called Hunt Down the Freeman, where you hunt down Gordon Freeman. Now, I'm just guessing here, but I think that the creators of the game had stolen some assets from other games, and they haven't paid their actors. So, this is just my theory. Maybe it's referring to something else, but this is what came up. All Valve games are in the same universe. Now, I found this theory on the Steam discussion board saying that all Valve games are in the same universe. Now, to keep this video short and simple, I'll just be listing off the dates and the games itself. Alright, number 1. Day of Defeat takes place in 1939 to 1945. Team Fortress Classic takes place in 1940 or 1950. Team Fortress 2 takes place in the 1960s and 70s. Portal and Half-Life and Opposing Force, Blue Shift and all those games take place around 1999 or 2000. The Counter-Strike games take place around 2000. Half-Life 2 and its episodes take place around the 2020. Portal 2 takes place around 2040 or 2050. Left 4 Dead series takes place just about the same time as Portal 2. And then Alien Swarm, which takes place in 2052. And then there's also Dota, which takes place on another planet entirely. It's a pretty good theory. It might be true, but Valve hasn't confirmed it. Apart from Half-Life and Portal, which have been confirmed to be in the same universe. 1,000 banned Steam games. Now, according to what I could find, the reason why Steam removed over 1,000 games was because publishers were abusing Steamworks, which, if you don't know, Steamworks is a free development thing where it helps developers with like all the stuff they'll need to make a game or publish a game on Steam. So yeah, they removed those games because they were abusing it. Nope Day. Okay, so this is a YouTube video, I do need to censor this out, but Nope Day was a game where you'd play as a nopist, and you are with a group of women during a zombie apocalypse. And I'm sure you can see where this is going. Anyway, I don't recommend you should Google this. Most websites that talk about this or have this most likely have a virus, because when I clicked on it, my McAfee went off saying that it's a suspicious website, sometimes saying it's risky. So yeah, and if you are going to Google it, don't. That's my advice, just don't. It has a lot of not safe for work content that should be obvious to you. If it wasn't obvious, then I think you should get a Fortnite and do something with your life. Mike Molbick. Okay, so Mike Molbick was a game creator who created a game called Paranautical Activity. Now, he said he was going to release the final version on Steam, and when he did, the game still said that it was in early access. Now, this ticked him off. It really ticked him off, to the point where he was sending death threats to Gabe Newell. Okay, if you are sending death threats to someone over the words early access, you really gotta rethink your life choices. Missing Adventure Time games. Okay, so a couple of Adventure Time games have been removed off Steam. Now, according to Tech Raptor, the reason behind this was because the license for the games were expiring. G2A stolen credit cards. Okay, so G2A is a Dutch game website where it sells games, and it's a really bad website, and it steals your credit card information, and it also steals Steam keys. And for those of you who don't know, Steam keys are a unique code where if you put it in, you can download a game for free, and you can play it. So yeah, they also steal that as well. Anyway, I recommend you don't go on that website. Stolen Unity assets. So what some people do on Steam is that they steal assets from Unity and then they make a game out of it and then post it on Steam to make some money. Now, I'm not sure how they would really do this. I mean, those assets are for Unity. I don't think they can just like be used on another software or something like that. But what do I know? I know nothing about making games. So, yeah. Steam accounts made private. Yeah, you can make your Steam account private if you would like. I'm not sure why it's this low on the iceberg. It's very well known and very simple. All you need to do is click edit profile, go down the privacy settings, and just make your account private. Abused game developers. Okay, I couldn't find anything on game developers being abused. So if any of you have any news on this, please let me know. Bambino Rally 3 slash Mulch Racer 3. Bambino Rally 3, also known as Mulch Racer 3, is a racing game that was released back in 2010. Now, I'm not sure why it's on this iceberg, let alone this low on the iceberg. There's nothing really too dark about the game, or nothing too dark that I could find. So if anyone knows why this is here, please let me know. Pony World 1. Okay, so there's some games on Steam called Pony World 3 and Pony World 2. Now the strange thing is that you can't find a Pony World 1. Like, there is no Pony World 1. So I'm not sure if this is just a part of lost media, or perhaps the developers, could have just like decided not to make it and thought it would be unique to have a 2 and 3 when there's no 1. So yeah, I guess we'll never find a Pony World 1 or something. Or maybe there is a Pony World 1 and we just don't know about it. Spin Tires being self-sabotaged. Spin Tires was a game on Steam that got sabotaged by this Spin Tires programmer, Pavel Zagrabelny. Anyway, so pretty much what he did is that he sabotaged the game to get back at the publisher who he claims owes him money. But it is a rumor, so who knows. Anton Makarevsky. Okay, due to certain events that happened in the world recently, I'm gonna skip this one. Golf Extreme. Golf Extreme is a game on Steam. That rhymed! Now, I'm not sure why it's this slow. Like, it's a golf game. It's only got about 14 reviews. It was released 2 years ago. It's got quite a bit of achievements, though. But, yeah. So, I'm confused. Why is it this low on the iceberg? Barely anything comes up when you Google it. Hentai games are secretly endorsed by Valve. Oh boy, so there's a theory saying that Valve secretly endorses hentai games. This would kind of make sense. There is quite a lot of hentai games that have somehow been able to make it on Steam and stay on Steam. Now this is a theory, it's up to you if you want to believe it. I don't believe it, but you might. Balsamito 2K18. Balsamito 2K18 was a game where you would play as the Brazilian president Jair Bolsonaro. Now the game follows Jair Bolsonaro defending his country up against these monsters. It's a very strange game. As strange as it is, I don't think it deserves to be this low. Maybe a bit higher would do, but it's a strange game. It's no longer on Steam, though. Indie game black market. So I'm not 100% sure what this entry is supposed to mean. It could be referring to an indie game on Steam called Black Market. Or maybe it's supposed to mean that there's some sort of black market around indie games. I'm not 100% sure. When I Google it, the first option comes up. So maybe it's referring to that, or there's a deeper meaning. Russian meme games are Russian spyware. Okay, so I couldn't find a lot on this, but from the stuff I could find, which I'm not 100% sure is a myth, a theory or actually true, but from the stuff I could find, it says that Russia has been making meme games so people can download it. However, there's like some spyware in it that tracks your day-to-day like activity and stuff. Now, they seem to be more focused on Ukraine right now. I hate Russia. So I'm not sure if they would care about the rest of the world right now. But who knows, maybe it would give them an advantage in the playing field. I hate Russia. Epic Games selling credit cards to China. Okay, I couldn't find anything on this, but this is definitely something that Epic Games would do. They would 100% be selling credit cards to China just to make money. Mafia using Steam trading cards to money launder. Now, I couldn't find anything on the Mafia using Steam trading cards as a money laundering scheme. There was a lot of results that came up for Steam using it, but nothing for the Mafia. So if anyone has any news on this, let me know. AI in a supercomputer made Super Moose. Super Moose is a game on Steam that, well, it's relatively unknown. It's only got about 11 reviews. So yeah, not a lot of people played this. And from some of those reviews, a lot of people say that the game is bad. There is a theory out there saying that the entire game was made by an AI. Now, I don't think an AI on any sort of computer could make a fully, playable game. But it is just a theory. A game theory. So it's up to you. Matt McDonald's suicide. Now, unfortunately, Matt McDonald's did commit suicide. Now, I have no idea how this relates to Steam. I couldn't find anything about anything Steam related around Matt McDonald's suicide. So if you guys know anything, let me know. Murdered game developers. Okay, I can't find any murdered Steam game developers, but there is probably a 100% chance that some Steam developers have been murdered. Play publishing is a money laundering scheme. Okay, I could not find anything on this. Game developer slaves in India. So, apparently in India, some game developers are slaves, which is honestly crazy. How do you get away with that? Yeah, this is just a short and simple answer. Neo-Nazi game developers. I couldn't find anything on this, nor do I want to get into this topic. And that was the Steam Iceberg. Took me quite a bit of time, but not very long. Anyway, make sure you like and subscribe, or dislike and don't subscribe, or maybe just don't do any of them. It's up to you. Anyway, I'll see you guys in another video. Bye-bye!
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me. Hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in.